What happens when a laid-back country superstar suddenly explodes on live television? 1 minute the studio is laughing, the next, voices are raised, the audience is frozen in shock, and a chair scrapes across the floor as a celebrity storms off the set. The moment everyone is talking about involves Blake Shelton, a fiery exchange with Joy Behar, and the chaotic stage of The View. Daytime television is known for debate, but rarely does it spiral into the kind of drama that makes viewers question whether what they're watching is real or completely out of control. Recently, a viral story began spreading online claiming that country music icon Blake Shelton had a brutal argument with Joy Behar during a live appearance on The View, ending with Shelton angrily walking off the set. The alleged moment exploded across social media, sparking heated reactions from fans and critics alike. But what exactly was supposed to have happened in that studio, and why did the story spread so quickly across the internet? The story begins with what was supposed to be a routine morning on the set of The View. The studio lights were bright, the audience was buzzing, and the hosts were preparing for another lively discussion. When Blake Shelton's name was introduced, the crowd erupted into applause. Known for his humor, his Oklahoma charm, and his long career in country music, Shelton walked onto the stage with a relaxed smile. For most viewers, it looked like the perfect talk show appearance. Shelton took his seat at the table, greeting the hosts and exchanging a few lighthearted jokes. The conversation started the way many celebrity interviews do, focusing on music, touring, and his life outside the spotlight. At first, everything seemed friendly. Shelton joked about life after stepping away from television competitions and talked about spending time with family. The hosts laughed, the audience clapped, and the segment appeared to be heading toward a typical upbeat interview. But then the tone allegedly shifted. Joy Behar, known for her sharp wit and direct style, asked Shelton a question that many online stories claim changed the atmosphere instantly. Instead of sticking to music, the conversation supposedly turned toward cultural differences and opinions about entertainment and public figures. According to the viral narrative circulating online, Behar made a remark suggesting that Shelton's views represented what she described as an old-fashioned perspective. For a moment, the studio reportedly went quiet. Shelton, usually known for laughing things off, looked surprised. He leaned back in his chair, paused for a moment, and then responded in a way that many stories describe as calm but firm. He reportedly told the panel that everyone is entitled to their own perspective and that disagreement shouldn't automatically turn into criticism. At first, the exchange still seemed manageable. Talk shows often thrive on debate, and audiences expect a little tension now and then. But the story claims things escalated quickly. As the discussion continued, voices reportedly became louder. Behar challenged Shelton again, and Shelton responded more directly than viewers were used to seeing from him. The atmosphere shifted from playful conversation to something that felt more like a confrontation. The audience could sense the tension building. According to the viral versions of the story, Shelton began pushing back harder against what he felt was a dismissive tone. He emphasized that people from different backgrounds often see the world differently and that those differences shouldn't automatically be treated as something negative. The panel attempted to steer the discussion back toward entertainment, but the exchange had already taken on a life of its own. Some reports claim that other co-hosts jumped in, trying to calm the situation and keep the show moving forward. But by then, the conversation had already become the center of attention. Viewers in the studio were watching closely. Some people nodded along with Shelton's comments. Others appeared uncomfortable with the direction of the debate. For a moment, it seemed like the tension might fade. But then came the moment that made the story explode online. According to the viral claim, Shelton suddenly pushed his chair back slightly and spoke more passionately than before. He reportedly told the hosts that he wasn't interested in arguing on national television and that he had come to talk about music, not to be drawn into a heated debate. The room fell silent. Cameras continued rolling as producers behind the scenes allegedly tried to decide whether to cut to commercial. Shelton then stood up from the table. The movement alone shocked the audience. Storming off a live talk show is one of the most dramatic things that can happen on daytime television. For a second, no one spoke. The hosts looked at one another, unsure of how to respond. The audience murmured quietly as Shelton reportedly delivered a final line about respecting differences before turning and walking away from the table. According to the viral story, he walked off the set entirely. The studio atmosphere was described as stunned. Some audience members clapped, others simply watched in disbelief. The hosts tried to regain control of the show, shifting the conversation and thanking viewers before moving to the next segment. But by that point, the moment had already become a social media sensation. Within minutes, posts about the supposed incident began appearing online. Headlines claimed Shelton had blown up during the show. Others described the moment as a shocking clash between a country music star and a daytime television host. Clips and thumbnails began spreading rapidly. Some videos claimed to show the confrontation, while others used dramatic narration and still images to recreate the scene. The hashtag started trending. Fans of Shelton praised him for standing his ground and speaking honestly. Supporters said he handled the situation with confidence and refused to be pushed into a corner. Meanwhile, critics argued that walking off a show was unprofessional and disrespectful. Debates erupted across comment sections. Some viewers said the moment proved how divided conversations around culture and entertainment have become. Others said the entire situation showed how quickly a simple interview could spiral into controversy. But as the story continued spreading, another conversation started to emerge. Many people began asking a simple question: did this moment actually happen? As journalists and fact-checkers looked into the viral claims, they discovered something surprising. There was no verified episode of The View featuring Blake Shelton in which this confrontation occurred, and no credible news outlets reported the dramatic walk-off described in viral posts. In fact, investigations revealed that many of the videos circulating online were heavily edited or entirely fabricated narratives designed to attract views and engagement. Technology update: the dramatic story had spread across the internet, but there was no reliable evidence that Shelton had ever appeared on the show for such an argument in the first place. Yet the viral tale kept spreading. Why? Because the story contained everything that grabs attention online: a famous celebrity, a controversial talk show, a heated argument, and a dramatic walk-off. It was the perfect recipe for a viral headline. In the world of social media, emotionally charged stories often travel faster than verified facts. Once a dramatic narrative begins circulating, it can quickly take on a life of its own. People share it, comment on it, argue about it, and before long the story feels real simply because so many people are talking about it. In this case, the idea of Blake Shelton confronting Joy Behar created a storyline that fit perfectly into existing debates about celebrity culture, politics, and media. Even though the incident itself wasn't confirmed, the discussion around it became very real. It revealed how powerful viral storytelling can be. For fans of Blake Shelton, the story reinforced the image of a straight-talking country star who refuses to back down from his beliefs. For critics of The View, it became another example of what they see as the show's confrontational style. And for media observers, it highlighted how easily dramatic narratives can spread across the internet without solid evidence. In the end, the viral rumor says more about the internet than it does about the celebrities involved. Because sometimes the biggest television drama doesn't actually happen on the screen. It happens online, in the millions of conversations that follow. And whether people believed the story or not, one thing is certain. For a brief moment, the internet was convinced that a quiet country singer had just turned daytime television upside down.